Hello, hope everyone is doing well. Your number one therapist here. We are at it again to talk about mental health, especially among the youth and adolescents. Yeah. So today we are going to continue with our series of talking about mental health among the adolescents and youth. Yeah. That is what we always talk about. Because mental health disorders or struggles among the adolescents and youths is on the rise. So we are called to do whatever we ought to do as people, as counselors, as therapists, as parents, as teachers, to be able to help our adolescents and youth. So in our today's topic, we are going to look at peer pressure and identity. Yeah, peer pressure and identity. In our previous podcast, we've talked about adolescence being a transitional stage where the adolescents get to build their identity in terms of who they are, in connection to their values, the society goals, the family goals, etc. So today we're going to look at peer pressure and identity. Yeah. So what is identity? Identity refers to a person's sense of self in terms of what we have said in terms of values. What values do you plug to? Your beliefs, what beliefs as an adolescent or as a youth do you believe in? What beliefs? Your personality, which we've seen in our previous podcast, that grows. Our personality grows across different stages in life, from the time one is born until what age, when personality grows across different stages. Interests, yeah, your value, what interests you most, and goals. Cultural and social backgrounds. We've said adolescence is when identity is still developing, and this makes young people more sensitive, yeah, to outside influence in terms of making choices about friends, behavior, and future. So the adolescents or the youth's friend play a major role in what they become in future and their choices. So what is peer pressure? Yeah, what is peer pressure? It refers to the influence of friends or age mates that affects how an adolescent thinks, feels, and behaves. Yeah, it's a group thing. How an adolescent's friends or age mates influences how they behave, how they think, and how they feel in terms of things like dressing, how they speak. Yeah, it can either be a positive influence or a negative influence. Positive influence encourages good behavior, say like studying, coming up with better coping mechanisms in as much as stress is concerned. And negative influence pushes an adolescent or a youth to risky behavior, say like alcohol use, substance use, yeah, unhealthy choices. Yeah. So, how does peer pressure affect identity? Yeah, how does peer pressure affect identity? It affects identity in many ways. Number one, conforming to fit in. Adolescents may change behavior, how they dress, speak, and act to match their peers' way of dressing, yeah, in order to belong, in order to feel, to, to, to fit in this group, in this category, For example, when they go to the colleges and the university, they find their friends behaving a certain way, and because that's their friend, they want to behave as the same as their friend is behaving, so that they can feel loved, they can feel part of the group. Yeah, it can also lead to confusion about self. So we've said adolescence stages where identity develops. And now, trying to please different people or different groups can lead to feeling unsure about personal values. Like you are always following certain group ideas, certain values, certain beliefs. So what about you? What do you believe in? What are your own values? What are your own aspirations? What are your own goals there, right? It can lead to risky behaviors. So we've seen peer pressure can either be positive or negative. So as far as a negative peer pressure is concerned, can lead to risky behavior so as to gain acceptance or belong to a certain group. Adolescents may engage in behaviors they are uncomfortable with. Yeah, we've seen like risky relationships in order to gain money, to gain relevance, alcohol use abuse in order to belong, to fit in, breaking rules here and there. Yeah. Low self-esteem can also lead to low self-esteem. So peer pressure, comparing themselves to other peers, can lead to a feeling of not good enough, yeah, hence lowering their self-confidence and self-worth. Yeah. So if every time this adolescent or this youth is always doing whatever this group describes or wants to, they will lose themselves in the process of trying to copy or compare themselves with the other. They will lose identity, self-worth, and self-confidence. Yeah, so we've seen not all influence is bad. Some influence helps the adolescents and youth to maybe study, cope better. So influence can either be positive or negative. So positive influence encourages friends to study, healthy habits, good decision making. Like, for example, they can say no without feeling guilty, and supports personal growth and individuality. Like, you will not lose yourself trying to compare yourself or to do what your friend is doing. You will retain your individuality. So how can you help an adolescent build stronger identity despite the pressure? Yeah, because the pressure is everywhere. Social media, everywhere, in schools. So one is encouraging self-awareness. Yeah. Help them reflect on what they truly like and believe in. Yeah. Like, for example, what do you like? What do you believe in? Do you believe you can study hard and become who you truly want to become? Yeah. So, yeah, you encourage them. Encourage them to build confidence and decision-making skills. Help them to trust their decisions, even if they are different. Yeah. Tell these adolescents or youth, you will come across your friends with different decisions, but trust yours. Even if they are different, maintain your decisions. Teach them assertiveness. Teach them that it's okay to say no without feeling guilty. Especially the people pleasing, those who grew with being less loved. A caregiver was here today, they are loving, tomorrow they are not. Some sorts of abuse here and there. They tend to grow up pleasing others. So teaching them assertive is key. Promote positive peer groups. Yeah, promote positive